Make sure to check out my unbiased immigration story told from a detainee's point of view. Link down below. Episode 28. Let's go. Start the clock.
Start the clock.
Big story, this just happened. James Comey, our former FBI director, was indicted today by the Trump administration.
Man.
I didn't even know he had a talk show. Came back and said, boss, I can't find any evidence. Fired! If this was an episode of Boston Legal, you'd say this show was Jump the Shark.
Man.
We found out the cause of autism.
Tylenol.
It was the Tylenol. Charlie Kirk's widow got up there and said she forgave his assassin, which is, thank you. Yeah, we can applaud that.
Yeah.
And then Trump offered a rebuttal.
Oh, God. Yeah.
He said, I hate my opponent and do not want what's best for them. Got to give it to the Republicans. Big tent. Big tent. Forgive my assassin. I hate everybody. Okay. A lot of people, mostly the type who are living on TikTok, were very excited because they thought the rapture was coming.
Oh, these people.
The rapture because some nut on TikTok said Jesus told him the rapture was coming on Tuesday or maybe it was Wednesday. Really, that's what he said. And then, of course, Jesus flaked. Okay, well, listen, you're 24 years old, you're new to the audience. Give us your background. Who are you? Who the fuck are you, Aiden Walker?
I am a meme researcher. I started out...
See, already we're lost. Am I right, older people? This is why I want you here. It's nihilistic. Politics is part of it, but it's just politics. They're using it to somehow help them act out their anger. Let's talk about the ICE killer this week. But I got the feeling that if he had gotten laid, he wouldn't have cared about ICE.
He always says that. I've said it before, man. They have to legalize it. Prostitution. A lot of these shootings, a lot of these murderers is because they're not happy, because they're not sexually satisfied. A lot of them are incels. And Ice-T, a former pimp himself, said that prostitutes save a lot of lives because they're the ones who have to deal with these monsters, with these cutthroat murderers.
There certainly were always people who couldn't get laid, me in college.
My condolences.
It's okay. It's all right. I made up for it.
I made up for it.
But I read that this ICE killer spent 10,000 hours so far on playing video games. Stupid fucking video games. Maybe you wouldn't be in the place you're in. It's a series called Adolescence. And it's about a kid. I'm going to give the spoiler alert because it's been out a year. If you haven't seen it, too fucking bad. But, you know, an adolescent, he's very young, 13, 14, he kills a girl. Show some of the emojis that were upsetting this kid. Okay, the red pill.
What?
Again, this is all this world you're talking about that we just don't, they don't want us to understand and we don't. But we're going to get to it tonight. The red pill, right? That's one. That means...
Truth.
What does that mean, the
Truth.
red pill?
So the red pill is a meme that emerges from the Matrix.
Involuntarily celibate. And they blame the women. I never blamed the women. I knew it was I who was lame.
There you go. This new generation, man.
And this guy was into furries. Tyler Robinson was into furries, which apparently is... What the fuck is it?
What is it? Yeah.
So it's a lot like major team sports mascots. It's people who dress up as animals and go to conventions. Like people who were unable to be their full selves. Yeah. And I think that online or off, everybody should have a chance to be who they are in America and receive respect and dignity.
Amen to that.
We're doing the right amount. We're doing the right amount in schools.
Well, I'm not an educator, Bill. I talk about memes on the internet. You weren't an educator either. You have a TV show.
Well, fuck you. Okay, let's not fight. I'm glad you're here, and let me tell you, you're one of the youngest guests, and you've handled this better than a lot of ones who are twice your age. So I'm all good with this.
TikTok is filled with weirdos and freaks who predict the rapture, or just bottles of wine rolling down staircases, or weird sludge ASMR. But it's also filled with people just sharing their stories, and that gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah, good to have that perspective.
All right.
You're good at this. I'm sure we'll see you again, and you'll be educating lots of people.
I think he's right, but it's the other way around. I think the politics have to change. In order for that to happen, you have to change the politicians, starting with the orange man. He's not going to change. He's not going to bring things down. So he has to go. I don't mean necessarily die. Just step down, go away, and then hopefully things will go back to normal. But once that happens, then we all calm down, and then we come together and make things like they used to be.
Thank you for being here. I always say that to my Republican friends. I said every week, the Republicans show up. The Democrats do not. I say it every week. I'm going to say it every week. Stop asking me why the Clintons had never been on the show. They were invited. AOC, all these people, they never come. Ask them.
Yeah.
Get on their case.
Cowards.
You guys are happy warriors. You always show up, but Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
You know, Bill, when people used to say, we're going to bring in the feds, we need a federal investigation, it's because that carried the imprimatur of impartiality. That's gone. Nobody has respect now for the federal government, and this is going to make it worse.
Hell yeah.
The Democrats do something bad, just enough to allow the Republicans to do it 10 times worse and say, well, you started it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Instilling all this violence against conservatives when the facts belie that. There's too much violence that comes from both sides, and the data suggests, frankly, that more of it is coming from the right than comes from the left.
Your own Justice Department said that.
Yeah.
In 1970, Nixon commented on an ongoing investigation, which was Charles Manson, who I think we could agree was probably a little more evil than James Comey.
Hell yeah.
Just admit to me we're in a very different place.
Hell
and
yeah,
tell
we
me
are.
You think it's probably not the best place to be? Let me bring up the case of Tom Homan. He was here last week. Again, Republicans show up, and I so appreciate it. And I even said,
I'm here for it.
I know. But it came out the next day. By the way, the people who were all saying, Bill, why didn't you ask him about this? Because it hadn't happened yet last week. The next day, an undercover sting operation recorded Tom Homan taking $50,000 in cash in a bag. A bag. Now, we're not going to call this a bribe because that's what normal people do. They take money in a bag.
It didn't happen, and case closed. That's what they said. That's what the FBI said. They investigated.
Okay, well, then I made this hat for you. It's, we do not care. I think it's a good...
If he didn't declare it on his taxes, it's not the tax fraud alleged that I would worry about, but it would be evidence of an illicit purpose. That's the one question.
You know, my question would be, is this the way honest people accept money? In a bag, in small bills.
This guy in a bag.
Kind of walking on eggshells. To the degree, I was watching Jeopardy. The categories are really different. Would you like to hear what the... This week, the categories were shithole countries. Good blacks. Things to call Rosie O'Donnell that rhyme with punt.
I mean, our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. We have "In God We Trust" printed on our money.
That came way later.
Way later.
It came in the 1950s.
Yeah, well, 1856 for the "In God We Trust," I believe, on coins at least. Our young people, they lack a purpose. They were held up in COVID. They couldn't go socialize. They couldn't go to school. They can't get jobs. And if somebody's
Come on, it was only 2 years.
I saw a picture of a guy. Do we have that picture of a guy who was carrying? Look, he's got the cross and he's wheeling it. It's got wheels on it.
It's got wheels on it.
That's a bit of just dragging the cross. That really wasn't the hard part of the cross. It's really the getting up on it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Anyone can kind of drag them, you know, and then to put wheels on it.
Wheels? Oh, come on.
But they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting this?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Because no one will talk about it, so thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't read about it on mainstream media. It's sad, so thank you for bringing it up.
Well, because the Jews aren't involved. That's why. It's the Christians.
Calm down, calm down.
And now to Tylenol. This is Trump, part of his statement. I hear Cuba, again, not exactly how medical people talk. Post hoc ergo propter hoc means because of, you don't mix up because of this. When one thing came, what am I trying to say? Something happened before and then something happened after. It doesn't mean there's causality to it.
I want to know, is it chemicals in the food? Is it Tylenol? Is it oxytocin that's in the Pitocin? Could it be an amalgamation of things?
Yes,
like, we should
I
know
think
that.
so.
You're right.
I mean,
it's important to talk about.
I think it's all of it. I think we just live in a very, very toxic culture.
Yeah.
And we're all different on the inside.
That's what I believe. It's going to be in the far future or even near future. We're going to find out what are the causes to a lot of these illnesses, cancer, autism, and it's going to be a combination of things. But we could kind of try to understand right now because there's certain countries who have very little of those illnesses. Like I think Japan and Denmark are the healthiest, one of the top 5 healthiest countries in the world. You could look at the difference, their standards of living to the United States. And the big one, I think, is diet, the food, especially in Japan, because their food is so different than what we eat in the United States.
I hope this chapter doesn't diminish the good work that I think RFK Jr. is doing with Make America Healthy Again in trying to focus our attention on diet, environmental factors, and getting our kids outside.
Yeah, chemicals in food, MSG, what does that do to us?
Now, this week, he said, this is his quote, after getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win. After getting to know and fully understand, it's a little late in the game, but if Obama or Biden did this, you'd go batshit.
Well, we have spent almost $200 billion.
He said at the end, I wish both countries well, good luck to all. Just like it's a football game, not a war. Good luck to all. All right, thank you, panel. Time for new rules.
New rule.
New rule, now that it seems clear that Trump took a DM intended for Attorney General Pam Bondi, ordering her to prosecute his enemies and posted it to Truth Social, he has to tell us, where do you keep the launch codes?
Imagine, my God.
New rule, now that Taco Bell just opened their first location in Ireland, someone must ask them why. Ireland already has a place where drunk people eat terrible food. Ireland. This is like bringing a restaurant to France called Snails and Shitty Attitude. MAGA conspiracy nuts must admit that of all the dumb things they believe, the idea that France's First Lady, Brigitte Macron, is secretly really a transgender man is the dumbest. Although I gotta say, that wig isn't helping. Someone has to explain why it took humans so long to put wheels on suitcases.
Yeah.
We've had the wheel for thousands of years and suitcases for hundreds. It never occurred to anyone to put a heavy thing you lug around on wheels. It's like how we had seat belts forever, but didn't put them in the vehicle with the most kids until the 90s. Let's make one last stab at a grand bargain between the two sides that hate each other so much. You stop saying fetuses are the same as babies, and we'll stop saying trans women are the same as biological women. You stop saying alternative facts, and we'll stop saying my truth. You stop saying thoughts and prayers, and we'll stop with the land acknowledgments.
Come on, man.
You admit there's no such thing as voter fraud, and we'll admit that getting a picture ID isn't really that fucking hard to do.
Yeah, come on.
Conservatives think the liberals are insane, and they're not completely wrong. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think most liberals are insane, but neither do they make it clear they disapprove of the ones who are, and their cowardice in not marginalizing their own crazies has been their downfall.
Yeah.
I couldn't get Neil deGrasse Tyson, a genius scientist and preeminent scientific voice in the media, to agree that it was ridiculous for Scientific American and The Atlantic to be claiming that separating sports by sex doesn't make sense. Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
I remember that.
Actually, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that either, that Neil deGrasse Tyson couldn't admit to it. I think in his mind, he knows they're wrong, but he's afraid. He doesn't want to be seen as a bigot. Well, he wouldn't be, but he doesn't want to be seen as that. So he tiptoes around and he tries to explain things away, and it doesn't work.
Stop coming up with radically new and often terrible ideas, and then in the next breath, insist there be no debate about any of it.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it right away and go along, you're bad, stupid, and deplorable. As if you were saying, duh, 2 + 2 = 5. Isn't that obvious? Yeah, it's obvious you can't add.
Yeah.
You can't just say shit. Math is racist. Queers for Palestine. Looting is cool. Healthy at any weight. If the men's football team played the women's team, it would be a tie.
204.
You can't just say shit. I mean, you can, but it doesn't make it true because you're not Harry Potter. And the people who now hold the reins of power, which brings me to my friends on the right, to whom I say, becoming an authoritarian police state, that's not going to work for you either.
Yep.
So how about starting your end of the bargain with this? Find one thing Trump wants and tell him no.
Yeah. One.
One thing. And
Epstein files.
you're way past flirting with authoritarianism. Flirting? Let's be real. You're fucking it.
Yeah.
Troops in the streets, funerals with fireworks, the Department of War, exploding boats, MILFs packing heat, and in Congress, the smell of tear gas in the morning, Pete Hegseth without a shirt on. All right, thank you. That's our show.
All right. Ironically, I just saw, it's been out for a while, it's a debate on the Piers Morgan show with this guy named Destiny, far left liberal nutcase, Anna I can never remember her last name, Kasparian, and 2 other guys. So Anna and Destiny are supposed to represent the left, and the other 2 guys are on the right. And man, if you want to see how divided the country is, check that video out. Me, I represent the Anna side, centrist, moderate, independent type, free thinking kind of individual. And she goes after Destiny. It looks like she hates his guts, even though they're both supposed to be liberal. But that guy, he goes way too far.
Club Random drops every Monday on YouTube or listen wherever you get your podcast. Now go watch Overtime on YouTube. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You did great. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I will catch you on the next one.